really serious findings here from the UN Human Rights Committee to do with asylum seekers and refugees held in detention on Nauru. So there were two cases that this UN committee was looking at, but I did particularly want to focus on one that's to do with 24 unaccompanied minors. Now, they were fleeing persecution from their home countries when they were en route to Australia. That was intercepted and they were eventually taken to Nauru. This was in 2014, and so this statement from the UN Human Rights Committee says that there was insufficient water supply and sanitation there in Nauru at the detention facility. The conditions were hot and humid, also saying that there was inadequate healthcare. And so almost all of them suffered in terms of their physical and mental well-being, according to this UN committee. Also, they pointed out that they remained in detention on Nauru, even though all but one of them was given refugee status. So according to the UN committee, Australia's response to this was that there was no valid substantiation that this occurred within Australia's jurisdiction, and that the UN committee in response to that, the UN committee did establish that they had significant control and influence. That's Australia. And I think we've just got a statement that we're showing you on the screen now saying that these decisions send a clear message to all states: where there is power or effective control, there is responsibility. The outsourcing of operations does not absolve states of accountability. Offshore detention facilities are not human rights free zones for the state party. So the argument there that where a state has effective control, its obligations under international law remain firmly in place. Now, the committee has called on Australia to provide some sort of compensation to victims, but also calling for reform to ensure this sort of thing doesn't happen again. So suggesting that there does need to be a review of migration legislation. And just in the past few minutes, I have received a response from the Home Affairs Department. They say that they're considering this finding from the UN committee and will provide a response in due course, but do point out that their consistent view does remain that Australia does not exercise effective control over Nauru. But nonetheless, some very serious findings there from that UN committee.